welcome. My name is Faye and this is Cloud, and we're here with Your Mindful Breath. And we're going to be exploring like some puppy inspired themes, so some puppy poses, as well as some attributes of what our puppy pal friends bring to the table. For this class, if you want to grab any props, feel free to do so. I like to use a bolster to sit on. It's one of my favorite things. You can use a pillow, or you can roll up a blanket. You could also use a block if you like. Feel free to grab those props now and then make your way back to the mat. And if you don't have any, that's totally fine too. All you really need is a space to be able to sit, move, and breathe. So that is what we are doing today. I am making myself comfortable on this bolster to help elevate my hips, reduce any pressure on the low back, and we are ready to go. Whenever you find that comfortable seat, we're going to start tuning into a few of our senses for this practice, with the first sense being sight. So allow the eyes to just gently gaze around the room wherever you are, allowing yourself to notice what's here. Maybe you start to notice the colors, the patterns, the prints, the sizes of different things in your room. And do so as best as you can without judgment. This is a really hard one for me, but we are embracing our inner puppy, right? Our inner puppy doesn't necessarily care if there are things that don't match or if there's mess on the floor. Allow yourself to simply be present and just notice what's here. If any judgments or thoughts come up that something is wrong, see if you can allow that thought to be there. See if you can let it go. And if you can't, that's okay. We will be working through this process together. Just simply allowing yourself to notice what's around you, allowing yourself to be present. And maybe you start to soften the eyes down or close them fully if that's comfortable for you. Allowing what you saw to fade away from your memory and shifting in towards what you might hear around you. Our puppy pal friends have a really keen sense of hearing. So see if you can hear what your puppy pal might be hearing right now. Maybe it's some traffic going by, or maybe there's people talking in the other room. Maybe it's the hum of your computer or air conditioner. Maybe you start to tune into the sounds that are going on around you. Maybe you start to tune into the sounds of your breathing. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, what do you hear? And let's slowly shift our attention now to what it feels like to be breathing in your body. What it feels like to be sitting here in this posture. Maybe you start to notice the temperature of the air on your skin. The way the body is balanced on your sit bones. Maybe you tune into the breath of how it feels as you breathe in through the nostrils. Maybe a gentle, cool air. And then as you breathe out, a little bit warmer. Tuning into these tiny little sensations that make up our experience of being human. What do you feel? You can start to deepen the breath here, breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe you start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, bringing sensations of movement to the body. Maybe you start to rock side to side, keeping the eyes closed and just tuning into sensation. I'm flipping my palms over to rest onto my knees. This is a more grounding posture. It's also helpful for a little leverage as we move into some seated torso circles. So all we're doing is just inhaling and drawing our torso forward, and then exhaling, drawing the navel to the spine, chin to the chest, and round. Inhale, bring it around. Exhale, round it out. Inhale, bring it forward, and exhale, round it out. Kind of like a little bit of a seated cow and cat posture with some circles in between. Just waking up the body, moving intuitively that feels good for you. So if you're making these circles with me, let's reverse those directions, paying attention to what it feels like to be going the opposite direction now. Do you notice any differences? Does it feel the same? Remembering to breathe. And when you feel evened out on both sides of these torso circles, let's return back to center and gently start to shrug the shoulders up to our ears and exhale them down. Inhale them up and exhale them down. Inhale up and exhale them down. Just warming up the shoulders here. Inhale them up and exhale them down. And whenever you feel ready, let's go ahead, move into stillness, inhaling those hands up to the sky. And then exhale and twist over to one side. Left hand can come to the right knee. That right hand can come back behind you, either on the pillow, a block, or the ground. The gaze can stay forward, or you can start to look over that right shoulder. Inhale, both hands up to the sky. Exhale and twist over to the other side. Same options. Right hand on the left thigh, left hand behind you on a block or on the ground. Inhale back to center. Exhale and twist to the other side. Taking nice full and complete breaths. On your next inhale, bring the hands back to center. Exhale and twist over to the left. Beautiful. One more time. Inhale, both hands up to the sky. Exhale and twist to the right. Inhale again. And exhale and twist. Returning back to center, let's do a couple side bends. Lower that right hand down to the ground. Extend that left hand over and bend over to the right. Inhale back up. Exhale, lower that other hand down. Bend over to the left side. The gaze can come up to the middle or down, depending on what feels best for your neck. Inhale, both hands up to the sky. Exhale, bend over to the right. Inhale one more time. And exhale, bend over to the left. Beautiful. Now let's move any props that you might be using out of the way and make our way into tabletop position. So the wrists are right under the shoulders and the knees are right under the hip points. Take a couple rounds of cow and cat here. So lowering the belly, inhaling the heart forward, And exhale, push the ground away, rounding through the back, tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale for cow. And exhale to cat. Moving with your breath. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Feel free to go for a few more rounds at your own pace. Maybe you start to add some intuitive movement, like some circles here, front to front, front to back, maybe side to side, maybe wagging the tail. Just starting to move in a way that feels good for you. And whenever you're ready, return back to neutral, and we'll do a couple thread the needles. So inhaling that right hand up to the sky, out to the side, we're going to thread it through that left armpit area. We're going to thread it through the left arm, lowering halfway down but not all the way. Inhale it back up. Exhale and flow. Inhale it back up. Exhale and flow. Now let it go all the way down to the ground. The side of the forehead can be resting on the mat. That left hand can be pressed up, helping you to sit more into the twist, or you can feel free to extend that left arm long, or take a bind and place the hand in between the hip crack area, between the hip and the thigh bone. And take a moment just to breathe in this twist. And if you decided to take a bind, allow the hand to come back down in front of the face, gently and slowly push yourself back up into tabletop position. We'll do one round of cow and cat, inhaling, drawing the gaze upwards, shining the heart forward. Exhale, push the floor away. Turn back to that neutral table. Extend the left arm out nice and long. Thread it through, but only flow halfway. Inhale, all the way back up. Exhale, thread it through halfway, but not touching the ground. Inhale again, thread it through. One more time. Exhale, allow the head to rest onto the floor, that right hand pressing into the mat, or extending out nice and long, or taking that bind, whatever you choose. And it doesn't have to be the same on both sides, so play around and see what it feels like. Sometimes one side is a little more flexible than the other. Remembering to breathe, remembering to relax in this posture, finding ease and comfort here. Pushing the floor away, and if you were in a bind, bringing the hand back to the floor, pushing yourself back up into that neutral tabletop position. And we'll move into a modified side plank. So extend the right leg out nice and long. Take that left foot, pivot it out to the side, and we're going to take our right hand and just like we're putting butter on toast, I guess, raise it up gently, up nice and tall for this modified side plank. Feel free to engage the core here and start to lift that right leg, keeping the foot flexed, so your leg is going to stamp your footprint onto the wall behind you. Continue to breathe, and on your next exhale, lower it down, and one round of cow and cat, breathing in, shining the heart forward. Exhale, push the floor away. Extend the left leg out nice and long. Take that right leg, pivot it out as like a kickstand. And again, same side, start to like spread butter or something on yourself and extend the arm nice and tall. And you can feel free to stay here or remember to engage the core and start to gently lift that left leg up, keeping the foot flexed. allowing yourself to stay in this beautiful modified side plank. Nice for building strength. We'll go ahead and return back to tabletop position, finding one round of cow and cat. Inhaling for cow, shining the heart forward. Exhale to cat. Pushing the floor away. You can start to bring the big toe mounds together. Send the hips back to the heels for your first child's pose of the day. Allow the forehead to comfortably rest on the floor. And feel free to come back to this child's pose posture at any point during this class today. If it feels like it's what you need, then it's probably what you need. So go ahead and always feel free to make your way into child's pose anytime during this practice. Just taking a couple breaths here to ground, to feel the sensation of the blood flowing through your body, the breath flowing in and out through the nose. Allow yourself to simply be present. Embrace that inner puppy pal mindset. And whenever you feel ready, you can peel your way back up into tabletop position, making our way into our very stereotypical doggy pose called fire hydrant. So keeping the core nice and tight, the crown of the head is reaching forward, engaging the core. Start to inhale, lifting the knee just off the ground, just a little bit, and then exhale and lower. One more time. Inhale it up, exhale and lower. Inhale up, exhale and lower. It's not about how high the thigh comes up. It's about keeping the hips neutral. So inhale up, exhale and back down to the ground. Maybe you imagine like a bowl of water sitting on the sacrum here. You want to keep that nice and even as possible. So inhale up that right leg now. Exhale and lower. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale and lower. Very little movement here, but doing a lot of work. Inhale that right leg up. Exhale and lower. Beautiful job, guys. Awesome job. All right, sitting the hips back to the heels, we're gonna take a wide-legged child's fold. Wide-legged child's pose. Send the hips back to the heels, the legs nice and far apart, keeping space for the belly and the chest to kind of sink down into the mat or the floor beneath you. Make your way back up to tabletop position. And start to do just a gentle toe squat here. So sitting up on our back toes, taking our hands and just doing a couple wrist circles. We've been doing a lot of work on the hands and the wrists, so they can get fatigued. And you can always use like a block if you need to help take off some of the pressure. You could also roll up your yoga mat. I just learned this trick. And use that extra cushion to help when you're doing like these standing postures. So feel free to just take this gentle break, and then we're gonna move into a couple more very doggy inspired postures. All right, making your way back into tabletop. Extend the left leg out nice and long, ball of the foot on the ground, and we're just gently rocking back and forth. Breathing in and breathing out. Engaging the core. And whenever you're ready, feel free to lift the leg off of the ground. Again, it's not about height, it's about balance. Extend the right arm out nice and long, stretching from the fingertips all the way to the toes, keeping the gaze towards the ground. Breathing here. On your next breath in, find length in the spine. And then exhale, draw the elbow to the knee. Keeping your balance as best as you can. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, draw the elbow to the knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, draw elbow to knee. Finally, one more time. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, draw elbow to knee. Place that knee down. And let's just do one round of cow and cat at your own pace, at your own breath, to reset us for the other side. And when you feel ready, extend the right leg out nice and long, rocking back and forth on the ball of the foot, stretching the calf. Whenever you're ready, you can take lift off, raising that right foot off of the ground, and maybe extending the left arm out nice and long, keeping the core engaged, pressing into the right hand and into the left knee. Breathing here, breathe in and breathe out. You're so strong right now, you can do this. And on your next inhale, find length in the spine. And exhale, elbow to knee. Oops. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to lengthen. And elbow to knee. Resetting, finding your tabletop, and we'll do one round of cow and cat. Breathing in, shining the heart forward, and exhale to cat. Doing one more round of cow and cat. Inhale, drawing the heart forward, and exhale, pushing the ground away, tucking the chin. Send the hips back to the heels for a child's pose to give a little break to your wrists. And making your way back up to tabletop position. Allow the knees to gently hover off of the ground, engaging the core here. And then slowly start to push the hips back up, making your way into your first downward dog. Finding any adjustments if you need to. Make space, spread out a little bit more. And in your first downward dog, feel free to walk the dog, lowering one heel to the ground and then the other. We're here for just a few breaths. Take a big breath in through the nose, and then exhale, sigh it out through the mouth this time. Inhale again, and exhale, sigh it out. One more time, big inhale in, filling all the way up, and exhale, sigh it out. Start to gently roll out to plank. Nice and tall, shoulders under elbows. Nope. Wrists under shoulders. You can lower the knees down, making your way down to the belly, however way you like. Keeping the palms towards the shoulders, and we'll just make a baby cobra. Inhaling, lifting the chest up, keeping the crown of the head nice and long. Exhale, back down. Inhale, lift again. And exhale, back down. Tucking your toes, making your way back into tabletop position. Scoot towards the back of the mat. And we're moving into puppy pose. Feel free to do your version of this. I'm going to do a little bit of a modified version. So I'm in tabletop position. I'm going to take my forearm down, lay it parallel to the top of my mat, and extend my right arm out nice and long. You can tell my hips are still over my knees, and then you're going to start to melt the heart forward and allow the head to either rest on the forearm, or the mat. Gently breathing into that right underarm area, opening up the shoulder here. Allowing the belly to be soft, sinking towards the mat. Taking some full deep breaths here. Being present with whatever shows up. And you can slowly start to walk that right hand back in underneath the shoulders, pressing your way up back to a neutral tabletop position. Let's do one round of cow and cat. Inhale, drawing the heart forward. And exhale, tucking the chin to the chest, pushing the floor away. Turning back to your neutral tabletop, let's take that right forearm, place it down on the ground, parallel to the top of your mat, and extend that left arm out nice and long for this puppy pose on the left side. If you need to make any adjustments to make this feel better in your body, feel free to do so. I needed to pull myself up a little bit further. And again, you're softening the belly towards the ground. The hips are over the knees. And you're melting into the heart. Breathing in this posture. Noticing any sensations. It's a very deep shoulder opener, heart opener practice. I used to really hate puppy pose, like this was one of the worst poses for me, but I've started to love it a lot more, especially with these additional modifications. And that's the thing I love about yoga, is that there's a pose for basically everything, right? But then you can always modify or adjust the pose so that it works in your body. It works for your level of flexibility, your level of strength, and you're doing it in a way that feels safe and authentic to your body. All right, we can start to walk that left hand back under the shoulder, taking one round of cow and cat, shining the heart forward. Exhale, push the floor away. Feeling some nice stretches in the back. I'm going to move side to side just because it feels really good. I want you to be able to invite in any extra movements into this practice that feel good for you. And now let's allow ourselves to sink our hips back to our heels for another child's pose. And instead of leaving the arms outstretched like this, we've done a lot of that today, let's extend the arms back behind us, noticing what that feels like in the shoulders. Maybe you feel a nice release here. See if you can follow the breath as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Whenever you feel ready, let's make our way back into tabletop position, wrists under shoulders, knees over hips. Start to tuck the toes. We'll make our way back into a second downward dog of the day. Inhale and exhale. Slowly allow the heels to melt towards the floor. And there's no need for them to be all the way down. Wherever you are is fine. And we're gonna roll out to plank. You can lower the knees and lower down to your chest and belly, or just lower down to the belly, however you like. Just take one moment here in crocodile pose, allowing the right hand to be on top of the left, and just relax the forehead down, just taking a moment to breathe and be present. And whenever you feel ready, you can gently start to make your way over onto your back, flipping over like a little banana pancake. I don't know. But we are doing banana asana. So extend the legs out nice and long. We're gonna take our hands and place them under our head, just one on top of the other. The shoulders are on the ground. And let's start to walk the legs over to the right side. So we start to make this C shape, and then we'll lift our head and start to also bring our head and shoulders over to the right side. Again, keeping everything on the ground. This is a beautiful stretch for the left side body. You can always go deeper, or you can always lessen the pose by coming out of the C shape that you're in. Allow yourself to feel how the breath feels right now. Remembering that a lot of the hard work we did is already over, and now we're into the wind down, cool down part, which is the best part in my opinion. You can start to unravel the legs, bringing the head back to center, just taking a moment to recenter into what this neutral position feels like. And then we'll walk our legs over to the left side. And we'll do the same thing with our head and shoulders, just slightly start to bring them over to the left, making this banana shape or half C shape. I don't know, whatever shape you want to call it. A beautiful right side body opener here. Noticing how the breath feels in the body as it's moving. If you're holding any tension, see if you can let it go. See if you can return to being present here in your breath. Being present here on this yoga mat in this class with me today. And slowly start to unwind, returning back to neutral position, feeling length in the spine, feeling nice and tall right now. Let's extend the arms up overhead, stretch from toe to fingers, nice full body stretch, and then as we exhale, let's start to hug the knees into the chest and maybe wrap up into a little ball. Maybe the head starts to tuck in and you just gently rock side to side here. Beautiful. Allow the feet to come down. Move into a short, quick inversion of bridge pose. So the heels can come in closer to the bum, but you don't need to be touching necessarily. And let's inhale, bringing our hips to the sky. And then exhale and lower. We'll do 3 rounds of this. Inhale one more time. Bringing everything up to the sky. Engaging the quads, the glutes. Maybe you start to wrap the shoulders under the back. And then on your exhale, we'll roll back down. One more time on your next breath in. Start to raise the hips up for bridge pose. Feeling a nice stretch in the back of the neck as the gaze goes towards the belly button. Maybe you even start to pay attention to the breath here. I really like noticing the breath in the belly. If you take a big breath in, and you can start to see your belly rise, and then exhale, let it lower down. Maybe you start to lower, and now start to lower down the back to the floor. And just taking a gentle rock side to side here. We'll make our way into happy baby pose, so feel free to grab the back of the thighs, the pants, the ankles, or the outside edges of the feet. And just slowly start to rock side to side. Nice little hip stretch here. And another way to invite in a little more fun and a little more play into your practice. And whenever you feel ready, feel free to make your way into a Shavasana pose. So that might be into corpse pose, where the legs and arms are extended out nice and long by your sides here. If you have any sensitivity in the low back, I always recommend soles of the feet on the ground with the knees collapsed in. Or I have one more special treat for you. Not one I've seen my dog do, but a really beautiful pose that I've been just resonating a lot with lately is legs up the wall. And all you need is a wall. And the trick to doing this pose is you try to get your hip as close to the wall surface as you can, and then lay down and swing your legs up. This is an amazing pose to help get the flow of circulation. It's great to also reduce low back pain. And if you're seated or standing a lot, this is a great pose to counter all of that downward flow. I mean, how often are we sitting like this? So, if you've never done this before, I highly recommend to give it a try. And we're just here for a few breaths to unwind, to be present, to take in all the goodness that we just did with this practice. And let go of any other tension you might be holding on to. Maybe the things that you need to do, things that have already happened that you keep thinking about. See if you can just let it go. Let it be absorbed into the mat or ground beneath you. You don't need that anymore. Just shake it off, like how a dog would shake water off of their bodies, That's what I am imagining myself with all those anxious thoughts and stressors. I'm just imagining it all on the outside edges of my skin, and I'm just shaking rapidly. I'm not actually doing it. I'm just visualizing me shaking it off, allowing it to float into the ground, allowing myself to be supported here in this beautiful present moment, sending myself some gratitude and appreciation for taking the time to show up here on the mat. Maybe start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, bringing a little bit of movement back into the body. And if your legs are up the wall, you can slowly start to roll over into fetal position, rolling over onto your side. And then gently making your way up into a seated position, keeping the thighs soft if you can. We'll take a few cleansing breaths together. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, filling all the way up. Open the mouth, exhale, and sigh it out. Beautiful. 2 more times just like this. Big, rich inhale, filling all the way up. And a slow and even exhale out through the mouth. Allowing yourself to be more calm and be present. One more time. Nice big breath in through the nose, filling all the way up. Exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Take one last gesture of the hands to the heart, one on top of the other, bowing the chin to the chest, saying thank you to your body, thank you to your mind, thank you to this practice for just simply being here and being enough. Whenever you feel ready, begin to blink open the eyes if they were closed, bringing yourself into this present moment. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you enjoyed this practice, feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know how it went for you, and make sure you subscribe or comment down below and tell me what kind of classes or practices you would like to see next. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye everyone.